Welcome to the 1760 sessions, conversations with leaders who build frameworks that move the needle. I'm Matt Reyes, principal at 1760 Strategic AI, and today's guest is Warren Fiihr, master coach at Action Coach Sugarland and former NBC leader who's helped clients grow profit 5 to 10 times. Warren, glad to have you.
Hey, thanks, Matt. I appreciate the time. This should be fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'd love to start with your journey. Can you walk us from your time managing NBC operations to becoming an Action Coach practice owner?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I was 39. I'm running this NBC affiliate in Roanoke, Virginia, and doing through some really tough times, including economic downturn, the Virginia Tech shooting, and you know that was a big effect on our staff, and a bunch of other stuff. But
Yep.
incidentally, this is kind of a fun story. Maybe not fun. We were owned by a newspaper company, so Media General, and so my station was bringing in about 4 million in profit a year, and the newspaper, the Tampa Tribune, was losing $1 million a month.
Oh, wow.
Ouch. Yeah. So after my third round of mandatory layoffs, I decided to do it. I decided I needed a change. I had to get out of that company. I got recruited to work to sell advertising for Comcast, not sell, run a sales team for Comcast in Sacramento and Fresno, $50 million thing. And then I got asked to come to fix Houston, which is a $100 million plus company, and came here and we rejiggered the whole thing. And then 2 years ago, they did a restructured for the first time in my life. I'm like, crap. What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
So, so then we basically looked at a lot of different things. Looked at running a TV station again. That was a fun gig. And but I always had this passion for helping businesses, and I could only ever help them in the way of, give them free advice, get customers in through advertising. But I
Yeah.
wanted to do all the things, pull all the levers. 'Cause so many business owners I've seen, they can't go to their kids' soccer games, or they end up in divorce, or they're hardly getting by. And so to go and really give people their opportunity to grab their business, take control of it again, and get a future that includes someday having an asset that's sellable was super. It's super fun.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. So yeah, I guess on that same note, what parts of your experience going through, the TV station to Comcast, etc., how does that inform how you coach business owners today?
Well, it's kind of awesome. I got a lot of great experience, and the thing is, when you're an employee, you get paid to learn. And I was in several leadership programs, one through Media General and one through Comcast, and they were amazing programs. So I learned a lot about leadership, but I also learned about leadership as I was doing my job. And so running teams over 100 people since I was 39 years old gave me a real depth of experience. And then sales, obviously every business needs sales. Having the advertising sales side of it was pretty good. And then really the corporate has a lot of gross things about it, but it has some really good things in systems and processes and accountability and structure and
Mhm.
succession planning and all these things. And that has been really powerful for me to use that asset as well as the action coach stuff. Smash that together. We got a pretty good.
Amazing. Yeah, so about Action Coach, how does Action Coach differ from traditional consulting, especially in how you drive measurable business results?
That's a brilliant question. It's funny. I would always joke when I was in television. I'd be like, someday I want to be a consultant because the news consultants, what they do is they get a good idea from one TV station, and then they take it
Yeah.
to the next TV station and claim that it's theirs, and then they
Yeah.
repropagate it over and over again, right? So, so Action Coach is very much about results. So it's not like we come into your business, look under the hood, tell you all the things are wrong, charge you a big pile of money, and leave.
Right.
And that is the difference. So we even have a 17-week guarantee. So we have to get your return on investment in 17 weeks, or we work for free until you get your ROI. So it's like
Yeah.
real skin in the game. We meet weekly or every other week with these clients, and we're all in to getting results. It's all about results.
Yeah. And what's a recent, I guess, example of a turnaround story that stands out, for you? Could be recent or just one that in general.
I have
Because
so
I'm
many.
curious. Yeah.
I'll give you one. All right, so I have a client that has a school, and it's a franchise school. I won't say the name of it, but basically, she's making maybe a decent living off of it. And so we went in and looked at the first thing we looked at was, we got to grow sales. That's the best thing to do, right? And if you think about a school, if you're not at capacity, then every extra student you bring in, that money all falls to the bottom line. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So we're getting 20 leads a month, and she was getting 5 in to do tours, and 3 of those people would become students because they have a great culture. It's a great place to have your kids. So what we did was we concentrated on the lead to tour conversion ratio. So instead of getting 5 tours, the next month we got 10 tours. So it's 20 leads, 10 tours, converted 6 to students, and then the next month we did it again, and the next month we did it again. And we ran into a little bump because we had some employee issues, so we had to get buy-in and move people in the right spots. And now we're doing that. So at the end of the year, she'll double her amount of take home, and then 7 years, if she decides to sell this business, it'll be worth I don't know, probably 800,000 or $1 million more.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so she makes an extra 150 a year for 7 years. There's $1 million. She sells it for 800,000 or $1 million more. There's a couple $1 million. That's fun. And we'll get this thing ramped up. This is like sixth month we've been doing business. We'll get her to the point where she can be optional in the business too, or work 20 hours a week instead of working 50. Right. And that'll be that time freedom is like such a big. We get into business and we're like, oh, I'm going to have time and fun and freedom and money, and it's going to be great. And then you get in it and you're just grinding, and you're like, I hope we can make payroll.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I 100%. I think that's at the end of the day, especially as a business owner, figuring out how to have more time. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things of, I worked in corporate, tech, corporate strategy for a tech company for 10 years, and starting my own consultancy was, one of the reasons was to ultimately have, be my own boss, and ultimately not just be financially free, but time free, and I think that's something that's more valuable than anything.
Yeah, it's all we have. Nobody has more than 24 hours in a day, and we're all terminal. Yeah. So it's just a matter of what do we want to do at that time, and how can we have the option? We just want to have the option. We might love what we do. We just don't want to have to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what are some of the I guess some of the things you were doing with this client in terms of to increase the number of leads they got? Was that, through outreach, like manual outreach targeting, or
so we actually didn't. The fun thing is we didn't increase the leads at all. We didn't spend any more money. All we did was concentrate on when the potential parent calls with a potential student, we want them to come in and tour, because we know when they come in and tour, they're going to love it. So how do we get people, just like if you were a auto repair shop, you want to get people into the shop. Because once you have them in the shop and you put the car in the rack, then you can figure out what's wrong with it. You can build rapport with them. We just got to get the car in the shop. You're going to see our beautiful shop. You're going to see that we're great people. You're going to realize you can trust us. And then we'll fix your car. Yeah, we're going to fix your car, of course. But we want, once we build that know, like, and trust with people, the rest comes easy.
So it really was around that marketing, I guess, that the message that you put out to potential students.
It's really more about what matters or whatever. There's a great saying, Jim Collins or somebody. But really what we did was we said, hey, if we can concentrate on this, meaning, so if in this situation, if it's get more students into the school by touring, and we got to make sure we follow up. We got to have the right scripting for follow up, and focus on that versus the 25 other things that this person could be doing, because that's the thing that's going to move the revenue. Oh, and then by the way, the comp plan, you get more money if you have more students over certain ratios. So now it's a win-win. So we motivated them with focusing on what's important and what we want them to do, and we've communicated that. And then we also compensation-wise compensate on that as well. So now you got more reasons for the person to do the right thing.
Amazing. I'd love to learn some of your, common client challenges that you see with, potential, clients of Action Coach. What are some recurring bottlenecks that you're seeing with a lot of your clients?
Yeah, great question. So really, they come in three categories, and I figured out how to name them all with P. So I'm really proud about that. Okay,
Nice.
so P isn't proud isn't one of them. All right, so profit is one. So that's all things sales, scripting, follow up, unique value proposition, uh, all things sales. So that's the first one. You know,
Hmm.
the second one is people. So finding the right people, retaining the right people, growing them, holding them accountable, moving the right people, the wrong people out. So the people part is a big part for business owners. And then the third one is priorities. So priorities is we all, what did you do today? I put out fires all day. Well,
Yeah.
that's urgent stuff. And some of it is important, but we don't ever get to the part where it's like, I need to do the important stuff that's not urgent. So that means planning. So that's we every quarter we sit down for 5 hours with all the business people and we sit and plan out our next quarter. What are we going to do? What are the 6 things we're going to do in the next quarter? And we're going to put them on our calendar and we're going to actually do them. So those are the big three. And it doesn't matter whether you have a school or a CPA firm or a
Hmm.
pipe lifting business or a painting business. It's always some formula of those three.
Amazing. Yeah, I love how you were able to create an easy way to remember the three Ps. So on that same note, could you give me an example for profit? Maybe from either hypothetical or with a client that you've worked with recently of a bottleneck within profits that you've come in and are fixing or have fixed?
That's great. Yeah. So the first one that comes to mind, and we'll call this just for a little bit of an anonymity. Anonymity? Yes.
Yeah, I can't say that word either. I just say anonymous.
I think I can
Anonymous
spell it.
tip. Yeah.
So it's a professional services firm. So, and in this scenario, um, this is a firm that, the good thing about professional services are they charge a lot of money,
Hmm.
right? So there's a lot to play with. The bad thing is you charge a lot per hour, and it can get a little easy to take your eyes off some of the things that are important. One of the things that are important is billable hours.
Yep.
So if you have a person that bills at $400 an hour, and what's the expectation of how many hours you're supposed to bill? Well, if they don't have one, that's a problem. But in this situation, in this position, they should bill about 1,300 hours per year, 1,300 billable hours. Okay, so they had one guy that was only billing 800 hours per year, and the other guy is billing 600 hours per year. So 1,300 minus 600 is 700 hours. 1,300 minus 800 is another 500 hours. So you have 1,200 hours at $400 an hour. That's
That's
400. That's
interesting. Yeah.
$400,000.
Yeah.
And guess what? That also all falls to the bottom line.
Yeah.
So will just that one thing, focusing on the one thing and setting expectations around that thing is going to make the difference. If they throw an extra $500,000 to the bottom line this year, that's pretty decent ROI.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, that's almost half, that's, having them almost double, I guess, 40% more hours for each of them, you know,
yeah.
which
And
is
the
quite a
thing
bit.
is, here's the thing: they are. It's not like the people weren't working.
Yeah.
Well, it's two things: either the people aren't working, or they're not billing for the hours they're working. Right?
Right.
In this case, it was the latter more so than the
Yeah.
former. So if you do the work but you don't bill the hours, then it's like if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it,
Yeah.
doesn't make a sound.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you just go in and, I guess, coach them on how to build more hours, or put a system in place to help them track and keep them accountable?
Well, the first thing is did we tell our employees what the expectation was? So then what does good look like? What does great look like? So that's number one. And then is there accountability around these expectations? So it's football season. Do we know where the end zone is? Do we know where the out of bounds are? Do we know what's going to throw a flag on the field? Like if we don't know the rules of the game, we can't. There's no way we can execute, right? So that's the
Yeah.
first thing. And then the next step is, and we haven't done this yet with this firm, but I think the next logical step is to put some incentive around billing hours, right? So if you hit this certain threshold, you get pretty good juice and comp. So then the people that are really hungry and want to go will work harder, and then it's a win for the firm and it's a win for the employee.
Amazing.
Yeah, good stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. What about people? Could you give an example of a recent engagement where you were fixing a bottleneck within their people?
Yeah. So I have a client, and they promoted somebody into the wrong.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's easy to do. First of all, most people when they hire, this wasn't an employee. This wasn't their first employee. This is like a 15 employee.
Right.
But most people when they hire their first person, they hire their brother or their cousin or the dude that's their neighbor who's out of work, and they make a bad hire, and then they get really gun shy on making another hire. So there's that. So that's the first thing is making sure we have the right people, and we define what the position is. But in this situation, we had to take this person, even though they were going to make a little less money. When people aren't very good at what they do and they can't figure it out, and we train them and they can't do it, they're not happy.
Yeah.
So then we've got to help them to realize that this probably wasn't a good move for them either. And then once
Yeah.
we do that, now we're good. So we move this person over to a different slot, and we've hired another person that's going to be more well suited for the position. All this stuff sounds easy, but here's the situation. You're on the field running the plays all the time as a business owner, and you're in the scrum, and I'm sitting up in the press box watching all the plays develop and seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff is they're like, well, we actually knew this. I'm like, I know that you knew it, but you got to do it. You can't just
Yeah, exactly.
do
Exactly.
it. And you're in the middle of it every day.
Yeah.
You're more reacting than being proactive. I had one of my clients say to me, she's like, I feel like we finally got control of our business again. Like we actually are running the business now instead of the people running us around.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. And then I guess the last one, priorities. An
Priorities.
an example of how you've fixed a bottleneck within an organization's priorities.
It's like the saying, when you're up to your elbows in alligators, sometimes you just have to stop slapping alligators and drain the swamp. Have you heard that one before?
I actually have not heard that one. No.
And you're going to get bit a couple times, by the
Yeah.
way, while you're draining the swamp. And that's what happens with priorities. So I think the quarterly planning session we do every year, that would be great. We do a quarterly planning session once a year. The quarterly planning session we do every quarter is a big piece of that. Then it's putting the most important things first and the things that are gonna make the biggest moves in the organization. So that can be, hey, we got to stop running around. This is an example that's real. And we're going to have to stop and hire an assistant. This can be a virtual assistant, a part-time assistant. They're still deciding, but I'm like, guys, you're never going to get caught up if you don't stop and hire an assistant. Well, we're so busy. I understand. So then pay somebody a little more that can get it fast, so you don't have to train them a bunch.
Yeah.
Figure out some stuff to do that, and we know we can trust them. We're going to slide that over to them, so that you can work on the important stuff like getting bids out, doing sales, growing the business. Because then you get enough revenue. Now this assistant is the cheapest move you ever made. If you're taking the stuff that you're doing that you don't like to do and it's cheap to hire out, get rid of that stuff first, and then you can move up the ladder as you scale. How about you? Let me ask you a question.
Sure, please.
How's your business? You came from a corporate environment. Now you're doing your own thing. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going really great. It's going really great. I think I've been doing this a lot internally within my organization in terms of AI optimization. So taking those processes that I've learned and I've used internally with, our clients, and being able to do that, for myself has been, it's been really nice. And so, helping organizations understand where AI can, remove bottlenecks for them, and, traditionally somewhere, where you'd have to hire more headcounts, increase the, workforce, somewhere where you can, maintain your current, lean business, but just use AI to scale and amplify the efforts. I think that's been something that's been really fun to help organizations, figure out how to do.
Yeah, it's interesting because if like people can say you can say you don't like AI or I don't like it, it takes too much power and it scares me, and you can say all those things and they can be true.
Yeah,
That's it.
100%.
If you don't take advantage where you can of automation and using AI to streamline systems and processes to get them to talk, then man, you're gonna be at a competitive disadvantage.
Exactly. Exactly. I think everyone has to, adapt and evolve in some way to use it, or, they're going to be left behind because, AI is evolving at such a rapid rate to where, small and medium-sized businesses can, leverage it to, have the workforce and have the power of, a business 5, 10 times its size, which I think is really exciting because it gives, it enables a lot of, smaller businesses to, really make an impact, get out to a bigger potential market, capture more market share. And, I think it's, I think as a whole, it's really, really positive.
Well, and if to me, it's like, look, if we use this power for good, there's going to be people that are going to use it for evil. But if we use this power for
100%.
good,
Yeah.
we can really actually do some great things in the world as well. But does it scare the crap out of me? Better unchecked 2 or 3 years from now? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How do
It's,
you? I was going to say, how do you counsel people on? How do you counsel business owners on the use of AI? What's your
yeah, great question. So, my main perspective on AI is really, human intelligence being the forefront and center of your business, full stop. So human intelligence is, you cannot just run a business purely on AI and automations. AI only really works if you have the human intelligence to for it to amplify. I think, and then that's why there's, the space is really interesting because a lot of people really don't, and a lot of businesses don't really understand, how to use AI, outside of prompting an LLM like ChatGPT or Claude, right? Asking, something, so what it really is, you really have to have your business, your value proposition, everything in place, and AI to work around and to amplify that. So I always tell, clients, understanding that AI is there to help you scale what your voice and scale your business. But it's not there to replace your business. It's not there to replace your employees per se. You need, it's not a perfect, it's not going to run your business for you, you know. So and just understanding what all of those different, how AI works with all of your different applications, works within your tech stack to make everything more efficient and operate better, while also understanding, your strategic goals and, what you're trying to do is I guess the sweet spot.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. I also heard garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah,
You gotta have
exactly.
good data in, otherwise you're not gonna get.
Exactly. Because it like, ChatGPT, for example, and Claude, they're large language models. They give you they give you recommendations. They give you based on the information they put in, that you put in, as well as the information that they're pulling from. So if you don't have your your business and your data sets and everything optimal, it's not going to give you good results. It's not going to give you good advice, good guidance. It's not going to automate correctly. So it's really important to understand that aspect. And I think there's a big opportunity to educate solopreneurs, small business owners on how to use it effectively to amplify their voice.
Yeah, it's funny. There can definitely be an overdependence on AI. So I have a client, automotive repair, bunch of automotive repair shops, and he was asking me about this a loan situation, equity line situation, and some considerations and stuff. So I gave him a very thoughtful answer. And I don't think he read it. I think he said, "Here's what ChatGPT says." It was pretty good. It wasn't as good as me answering the question with some thought and some forethought, because it's only as good as the prompt that you give.
Right. Exactly.
If you learn how to prompt it pretty good, you can get close. But it's like I mean, even a couple of years ago, I know people were using it for scripting. So if you're going to do a TV commercial or whatever, you might use it to get a basic script, but then you need to take and refine that and make
100%. It's good for structure. It's good for organizing thoughts. But whenever I use any of my LLMs, I never I use it as a starting point, and I spend time to review the actual output before I send it to someone, before I put it out, before because it's a good way to speed up the organization of your thoughts, especially if you feed it frameworks on how to think and how to build that structure. And so I think that's where the real power is. It's just especially if you have frameworks that you work on, or thought processes, being able to upload that into your ChatGPT or your Claude, and then being able to structure those thoughts, or structure that content or whatever it is. I think that's a really good use case. How are you, Warren, using AI, I guess, in Action Coach, internally just for your business, as well as externally for your clients?
Yeah, it's a great question. Internally, look, we're like, I literally have an email I've got to respond to today. We're going after in this case, we're going after some fleet decision makers. Automotive repair, go with that one again. You've got these people that have these large fleets of vehicles. It could be UPS, or it could be a big lawn care, or HVAC, or school buses, or whatever. So if we're going to go after these folks through a series of marketing messages to try to warm them up, and then a person will eventually call them and contact them, or maybe they'll engage quicker. So use AI to get the basic scripting done, take it, make it smarter, make it better, maybe put it back in there again, see if it comes up with anything. But coming up with 7, if we want to hit this person 7 times, how do we shake it up and use it for some creativity, and then create on top of it. So that would be the way for clients, and sort of that's kind of what I'm doing as well. Just using it basic prompt. I don't have a lot of really big systems that I need to talk to each other right now or anything like that. I'm sure over time there will be other automations. I think there's
definitely
in my CRM as well that are AI driven.
Yeah, definitely. I think CRMs being AI optimized is a really big advancement in business. I'd say that, and as well as AI agents as well. The rise of AI agents, but AI agents are only going to be as good as how you build and train them, and so there's obviously a fine line there that I totally think everyone needs to be wary of. Workflow automations, being able to get your ChatGPT to work with your Google Drive, to work with Notion or whatever your workflows look like. So just being able to have everything communicate because it does at the end of the day save a lot of time. So you can, use that more strategically or use that to, actually, innovate or deliver value for your clients.
Yeah, it's all about being competitive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Move fast.
Um, which parts of your client delivery still is pretty manual? Is everything pretty, I guess manual from your part or?
Yeah, what I would say is this. You mentioned it earlier that AI is not going to replace us, and I think there are some of the things with business coaching. It's a lot of we got to prioritize the right things, and we have to make decisions. So some people, so the personal side of it. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Like, there's a personal side of it. It's not maybe not psychology, but it's and my family. I have two counselors in my family, so God forbid I'm not going to say it's counseling because it's not that.
Yeah.
But there's an element of personal kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just like confidence to do the right thing and having another set of eyes to look at it. And that I think that's a tough AI application. Like
Yeah.
you could do it. You could surely do it and say, give me the pluses and minuses of doing XYZ decision under these parameters and what would be a better option. Like you could do that kind of stuff. But this is more personal. So I don't really have a lot other than what I told you about, some CRM stuff. I don't have a lot of other things I'm doing. The thing I think that I tell my clients is we got to be aware that this is out there. We got to utilize this tool as best we can and make sure we know we are utilizing it where it makes sense for the business.
Yeah.
And then if people I'm talking to people about business all the time, and sometimes it's, hey, what do we want to buy? Well, I like to buy an AI-proof business. So whether it's HVAC or automotive repair or pool maintenance or painting or whatever, those kinds of businesses. Just like I used to say when I was had this advertising team, I'd say, hey, look, if you're prospecting, prospect Amazon-proof businesses. And that was 15 years ago or whatever, 10 years ago. When you think about the effect that Amazon has had on so many of these segments, if you can just buy it on Amazon and it's the same price, why am I going to the store? A lot of people aren't.
Right.
But you still got to get your car fixed, right?
Yeah.
You still got to get your, whatever, your car wash, detail, all those things, solar, whatever it is. Roof. You got to put a roof on your house. Just kind of is what it is. AI is not that smart. They can't put the roof on your house. So I think that's kind of the count. I guess it would be more seek-wise counsel. Wise counsel is just look at where we're going in the future and make sure that we are in the market, the right place in the market to weather any kind of AI storm and then leverage AI where it makes sense.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And even those AI-proof businesses, if they are leveraging AI, they can, increase the amount of leads they get. They can increase, they can increase revenue and decrease costs essentially,
Yeah, and there's some cool kind of customer follow-up applications, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we can automate
100%.
some of this customer follow-up and have a better customer experience, man, that's a great use of that tool to create a better customer retention policy, which again, acquiring a customer is a lot more expensive than keeping.
Yes, 100%, 100%. It's definitely something that AI can help with. Is there any part of your workflow that you'd love to, I guess, automate that's manual right now? And if so, what do you think that is? Outreach? Is outreach all manual right now?
Well, I mean, it's funny, the call before this, I got all these people trying to pitch me all these different automated systems that are going to outreach people, and it's going to be great. And then they're going to market
like external outreach, systems, or
customer acquisition, right? Like I stopped doing customer acquisition, and I don't know that everybody's a digital marketing expert until you hand them a couple $1,000s and ask you to get results.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But before that point, they are. And I think
Yeah.
I would even say in your business, like, how do you define? Because everybody's now an AI. Everybody's an AI guy now, right? So like AI expert. But how do you define your services and expertise different than your competitor?
Yeah, so for me, it's really taking my background in consulting and sort of strategy specifically. So it's not it's connecting, actual pain points, internal pain points with the customer, you know, uh, outreach, for example, and suggest and suggesting an AI optimized approach to fix that. So combining, your own unique messaging, your own unique positioning, while leveraging, AI solutions to um, do that at the power of, having one or two or three human BDRs doing that for you.
Yeah,
So not just an automatic, not just a robot that just sends out, robotic messaging, but being able to actually execute on, the type of outreach that you think is going to convert and actually going to turn into qualified leads. Doing that in a very, very automated process and intelligent process that evolves. That's just one example. There's various areas, within a business, and that, requires understanding the business, understanding what they're doing right now, how much they're spending, where the pitfalls are, where the challenges are, what's working, what's not working, and, designing a strategy that leverages AI to execute, rather than leveraging hiring more people or spending more money in different ways to execute. I'd say combining aspects of traditional management consulting with AI is, I guess, the area and the that I'm trying to build and stand up on. So
yeah, you got to show that you got game in the space, and you're going to do a comprehensive solution, not just.
exactly, yeah. So AI doesn't mean anything if I don't understand what your business is or what your challenges are. So I can only really recommend a solution when I understand, where your pain is and where you want to go. And so understand. So the same exact discovery that you do with a client to understand, what needs to, profitability, people, or priorities, and those bottlenecks, where those stand. I guess what I do is, you know, instead of staying in there and um, being hands-on with fixing those problems, it's, implementing AI solutions to help to help do that. So it's, so that's, I guess that's kind of I guess my approach.
Love it.
Awesome. So yeah, we're coming up on time, Warren. I guess before we sign off, I'd love to get one decision that you'd repeat in terms of Action Coach and building this, and one that you'd change.
Ooh, that's good. I like that. Let me think about that 1 second. I think being intentional about networking every week and building out a network and getting pretty tight on helping other people connect is a really good decision and time investment, because if you do that with the right intent, it will come back to you. I would also add on that having a good networking script so you can sort of dig out the pain points and figure out if there's a fit to go to the next level is also important.
Mhm.
So that would be the positive. What do I regret? Probably the $8,000 or $10,000 I spent on digital advertising that produced.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, the thing people can talk about, when you got a ticket item, a higher ticket item like I do, they can say, "Well, I only need one lead." Yeah, but you
Yeah.
still need one.
You still need one,
You
exactly.
know, one still has to convert. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter how. But that's it's part. I think part of the thing is you got to pay the stupid tax. So just keep the tax as low as you can. Learn from other people's mistakes. Seek wise counsel. Um, we help people avoid mistakes like that as well. Like, okay, hey, have you thought about this? Before we
Yep.
go to this, maybe we should try this other thing here with a lower risk um, to test it before we go all into this new model.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to plug before we wrap up?
Other thing I would say is, look, I love talking to people, and if we can do we do a couple hours of work for free up front before we ever talk about doing a deal. If I can't figure out a way, if we can't figure out a way together to make you a whole bunch more money, or give you time back, or build your system out or your team out, I don't want to do a deal. I don't do this. I want to make money, but the drug that the adrenaline, the drug that I'm hooked on is seeing businesses grow, and it's so powerful and so fun, and seeing business owners trajectory going from, well, I was just thinking, if I could sell this thing for $1 million to I might sell it for 2 million, or I might buy another one and grow it into 4 or 5 or 6, and then sell it for 20 million. That's a different trajectory, and that's life changing. And the final thing I'll say is this: our Action Coach the mission is world abundance through business re-education. And so when you think about us, you and I, and all the other people around there, small businesses and medium-sized businesses are what fuel our economy. And when we make money, we invest in our communities. We invest in our families. We create legacy wealth, charities, all those things that really need to be done. As we grow businesses, the world gets to be a better place. And the money. Yeah, you got to have money. But then after the money comes time and freedom and fun and
Exactly.
changing, community changing stuff. Agree?
I resonate with that wholeheartedly, and that's exactly why I quit my corporate job and I started my own consultancy, for those exact reasons. It's not about the money. I was making more than enough money, doing corporate strategy. It's really the time aspect and being able to use the time that I have to make more of an impact. Well, the money's great as well, but it's exactly what you said. I think that's what gives me, the most satisfaction with work.
It's awesome. Well, thank you so much for the time. I thoroughly appreciate it. I would love to have a copy of this as well, because I'm going to take pieces
Yeah,
of this video.
definitely,
You asked good questions, so I appreciate it.
definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you guys all so much for listening. This is the 1760 sessions, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers. See ya.